All right, welcome back to the fifth and final part of my 2020 Christmas special. Welcome to anyone who's watching live, and for those of you who are tuning in later, check out the other four parts of this if you haven't already. If you don't know, this is the fifth part of my what I would call the Three Rivers, whatchamacallit, my last ride of the Three Rivers, which that was 4 parts ago, and now we are returning from Chicago. And just like today, the photos are more prevalent on the Superliner equipment with their rear-facing window. So while on the Three Rivers, which mostly runs at night, and while I think I did have a rear-facing thing for part of it, I just didn't get a lot of photos on that, except when I got to Chicago. But anyway, here on the Capital Limited, we are now almost to the DC terminal. I just got one more set of photos, of 40-something photos today. So we're gonna try to get this out, and with a minimum of fuss. So let's see if I can have fewer fewer digressions as we go in here. So anyway, we picked up around the Magnolia cutoff, which should be right. Let's see. That's not it. That's the email. Should be right here. And we are at the last tunnel is the Randolph Tunnel. It's also the shortest at 1,000. No, it's not the shortest. It's second shortest at 1,015 feet. So again, got a nice call it there. These aren't the turkey foot. This is yeah, I'm remembering the names better now. These should be the Doe Gully CPLs. The old line was in parallel to the new line. The old line sort of went on its own cut around what became the Randolph Tunnel. These CPLs, like I said, they date from the 1950s when FN Tower was placed in the Patterson Creek. Was it FN? F something tower at Patterson Creek. And here we and then eventually that third line was removed. Let's see if I was right. Here we go, Doe Gully. Now they're masked. But let's see. Okay. A little bit hazy. I'm not sure what I can really do about that, though. So I could always try that clarifying thing like I did before. Oh, that worked a treat. Just got to make sure that I resaturate and save. So here we are finally at Orleans Road. I mentioned last time this signal is actually still in place on the adjacent property. If you go there, you can, not much stopping you from poking around. I mean, it's not so much on the property that I think someone's going to come out with a gun and shoot you. Although this is West Virginia. So I'm trying to think if I want to do this with... Yeah, I can do this with a square aspect ratio. Nah, I want the wide. Orleans Road is generally considered to be the end of the cutoff. It's also the end of the CTC the 1950 CTC project, the Patterson Creek Tower. The one, just due to the way that the stuff's aligned, as you saw, most of my pictures have had excellent lighting, but in a weird twist, Orleans Road, actually, the railroad is headed almost back west at this point. So you always get oddball backlighting here. Even when you're on a day with favorable lighting, the railroad it reverses direction. And here we have the westbound signal bridge. Again, back in the day, this either would have been a 3 or 4 track signal bridge. In fact, I'm sure it was 4 tracks. You can see the cutouts for the orbitals there, or in some fairly whatever arrangement. This signal bridge is gone and was not saved by a local landowner. There we go. I'd like to catch the entire shadow, but it's going to unbalance things a bit. Excuse me. These are the signals at Turkey Foot. I often see these pop up to a double approach. Also, I'm going to bring anyone who missed the last St. Louis trip. Like I said, this track along the railroad tracks, while it looks like a normal maintenance type of thing for things, is actually a semi-public road. I won't say public, but it's like a public-private road used by locals to reach a variety of cabins along the Susquehanna. Not Susquehanna, sorry. The Potomac. Same kind of river. And I was when I was getting photos of all these, I drove my two-wheel drive sedan from Hancock all the way to Orleans Road. At the time, unfortunately, the signals had already been dropped on the remainder of the line. And I have pictures somewhere. I'd have to. I think we'll find it if we keep going through stuff. I have a picture passing like a K car driving down that sort of adjacent. There it is. Oh, no, that's a Toyota Hilux. A K car driving down that, which is why I had no real fear of trying it out myself. Yeah, see, there's my old car driving along, and this was in 2011. We have the Doe Gully signal. Oh, these are Turkey Foot. That's right. Oops. Yeah, I'm gonna have a lot more pictures now. Now this is the one from the winter, and you can see how badly I butchered it. Wow, bad color correction, bad contrast, bad everything. So I knew I was trying to get rid of this blue effect here. And oh yeah, if I try to make it warmer, let's see, I want to make it more green for sure. Yeah, so I can make it a little bit warmer and then raise up the colors a bit, but it's a winter picture. It's going to be blue. It's going to have a blue cast to it. Oh, just do a quick drop on the red. And also, like I said, when I have something like 2 masts or 2 brackets in opposite direction, I do the sort of the trick like attorneys general. It's not it's westbound bracket. You know, it's brackets westbound. I think this is Sidling Hill, but we will see in a second. I do like the B&O number plates. You know, this weird like W134-44 type of thing. I'm assuming, and some of them had an F prefix. Like what? What's that? I don't know. Blah blah blah. Yeah, like these have some of them I think might have that F. No, they don't. There's the replacement. This is the turkey foot replacement. And you're right, it's sidely. I got it right. Yay. Somewhere around here is where I saw that car. Maybe I can find that picture. Now, this is the one. This is the one I'm dealing with. All right. Anyway. Yeah, I did a horrible job with these. I mean, some of these are just terrible. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to correct my past mistakes and make all these photos available to everybody. This is great capon. One of the advantages compared to when I had more memory card space is that I would take a lot more pictures. So this nice, you know, this sort of just cuts right to the good stuff. Oops. Here we have the 132. I got at least an extra cycle out of these. So the ones west of Orleans Road were cut over first. So I got like one additional year or cycle or whatever out of the other ones. It took them a little while to get this last batch done. So I have significantly more photos of these guys. And the ones they did over was between Okanokono or like Green Springs and Orleans Road is what they did first. Then they did this, and then they finally got that bit with Dan's Run and like that chunk. And that chunk was actually, as you saw with the tubular aluminum signal bridge the other day. That was the one that was the part that was done last. And you know it was done after the 1980s because they had the masts on either side of splitting the track on either side instead of something like a bracket or a signal bridge or whatever. So this isn't a great shot here, but I can try the clarify filter, using it sparingly this time, or more appropriately. There we go. 130 is, not sure. Let's see. Let's get down to this. Drywall. There was one replaced signal. I'm not sure when it was replaced. Clearly after 2000. Probably a signal bridge that just fell down in a windstorm or rotted out to the degree they couldn't use it anymore. This would be Sir John. Now again, this is one of those things. While the signals were replaced, it was not what I would call re-signaled because it was still using the original relay logic, the pole line, everything like that. So. Don't really care so much about this, but I need to get to the paste the name. Blah 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 blah. See, you get camper vans in here. At some point, I pass a car, but I just don't know where that one is. Now, here's Sir John. This is Ambrose. Again, we got the same problem of the track looping back on itself. I think. Maybe not. Yeah. Exactly. Same problem. The track's now going northwest. Just because of the dips and bends in the Potomac. Yeah, it's a little bit too much. I think that's the new Sir John. So you got that little guy. Their cars drove by there all the time. So if you ever need to head out, not that there's much really there to see, feel free. No one's gonna stop you. Yeah, and this is the original attempt I made at this photo. I think it's not a great photo, but I think I did a lot better. And here we are at Grasshopper Hollow. This is it's interlocking is on track number 1 only, where it's the east end of the the west end of the Hancock siding. It had a bracket with one absolute and one auto signal, and then a gantry with 2 absolutes and 1 auto. I have better photos of Grasshopper Hollow, so I'm going to widen, make this bit bigger and get more ambiance. Get that pole line in there. That's one of the reasons I don't bother with watermarking or anything. At the end of the day, if I ever need to prove ownership, almost all my photos are processed. And I don't release not that I'm care to, not that it's a real strategy, but I don't usually release the original raw stuff. So anyone who is ever an ownership issue, they can't uncrop the photos, and I can. Grasshopper Hollow, Orleans Road. Okay, it's got to go full blast up here. Harper's Ferry, Hancock. More Hancock. Green Spring. Here we go. Yeah, I got all sorts of good stuff here at Grasshopper Hollow. Next, all stop at the signal bridge. And there's where the relay hut is in its flood-proof container. I guess in theory, when I went out that other time, it was winter, but there was no snow, so. There was a little bit of frost, like, very early in the morning when I went out. Alright, that's the first 10 done. Got any issues here? Yeah. Issues with, you know, at least, I mean, what you call it? The cameras have white balance stuff, and I can't do white balance set from the back of a train. The white balance is constantly changing, and the light's constantly changing and whatnot. And the other issue is that I do, you know, usually RAW is like 20 times the size, and I would run into major issues trying to store that. It ultimately doesn't usually matter, but. So here we're going to have like a run through Hancock. Looks like I have about almost most of these photos in it. Hancock was one of the last manually operated towers. As you saw from my blog, I did get a visit there in 2007. The story was someone tipped me off that the operator was a certain weekend operator was, you know, chill with having people just roll up and knock on the door. I did. I got in. I hung out. Blah 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 blah. I got some photos. Didn't get to throw a switch. Some of them worked better than others. This is where I have to pull up those Hancock photos. No idea where they are. Don't care about those. There it is. What I need is this stuff. So that switches, looks like the 25 switch and the 26 FPL. Yeah, it's 25 switch. So for anyone who doesn't, who doesn't quite know how these work, each set of points has its own lever to throw the points, and each either single set of either single turnout or crossover will also have an associated facing point lock. The facing point lock is the thing that you tolerance, that has the proper tolerancing to make sure that when it locks, not only is the switch points unable to move, but the facing point lock is positive, is your point detection. I mean, they do have a detector circuit box, but that provides sort of detection. It's a combination of detection and logical, like, you know, this switch has been reversed for the mechanical logic. Now, in the there was a time where not all switches had facing point locks. In the UK, that's still true, but in the US, you know, basically for years, you know, regulators and what have every point on the main switch track is considered to be a facing point. So we almost every for 100 in ever since like the 1890s or whatever, every switch machine has had a facing point lock for every switch. So here you can see there are 5 levers here. One of them, one switch for that guy, one switch there, the 24, one pipe for the 20. Sorry, I'm saying switch. 5 pipes, one pipe for the 19 switch, one pipe for the 24, one point for the 25. One of these pipes is the facing point lock. It's facing point lock number 20. That serves both the 19 and the 18 switch, but there's no 18 switch in this frame, so it's going there. Then the other single facing point lock will crank off to both that and to that. So you have 1, 2, 3, so the switch, and then 1, 2 facing point locks, and you count up the pipes. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pipes. Oopsies. Here we have Hancock Tower itself with the pipelines. Now at this point, all the switches on the, I believe all the switches on the east side of the tower had been converted to electric operation. They just put like a circuit controller in instead of the pipes, but the pipelines are still there. This was done when the road between here and our tower in Cherry Run, aka Miller, was taken out and re-signaled around 2003. So that just happened. Another neat thing here is also that the pipes run straight out of the tower. A lot of towers will have them come out. You'll have like a rocker bar with little cranks that then actuate the pipelines from in front of the tower. In this case, the tower is sort of a square shape, and then that mechanism is in there. Unfortunately, Hancock was demolished shortly after its closure in 2007. Those switches are the 18 and the 9. What's interesting, though, is also like a parallel crossover there, the 13, but that had been removed already. Is that the 9 switch? Yeah. So now you can see there's an M3 here. The pipeline is still active. Oh, looks like there's a rail fan out who is there today. This is at milepost 123 as well. So in this case, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 active pipes. So we'll see how what those go to. That switch there, again, you can see where the extra pipes end right there where they cut them. That would be the 9. Oh wait. Oh shit, the other, that's the 9 switch. The other one's the 15 switch. Gotta level this out. Get all of that. go there. I guess I will cut off those. I don't like cutting them off. Alright, anyway, sorry. Yeah, also this is a really junky digital camera for anyone who was unaware. These photos were on a 3 megapixel mid-grade. What's going on here? Oh, save copy as now, save as. So I said that there were, looks like there were 6 pipes heading down. So what are we going to have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a derail, a switch, and a second 2 pit. That's 4, and your 2 facing points. One for that crossover, and one for this quarry track plus the derail. So that's where your 6 is from. But again, this is what they put up at this end of it when they did the resignaling. It was for as long as I ever went past this tower, it was sort of that straddle point between the resignaled portion and the unresignaled portion, and it stayed that way for around 5 or so years. Oh, it might have been a little longer than that. So now we have a pretty big skip ahead. This is because everything between Hancock and Brunswick had been resignaled. And I'm basically on fumes in terms of camera memory. This was a little oddball signal that existed between Weaverton or Wolverton or whatever you want to call it in West Brunswick. I hiked out there at some point and did document this and the other one. Even though these the inner tracks are yard leads to West Brunswick Yard. The outer track is Rule 251 bidirectional tracks 1 and 2. Let me see if I can pull this up on the thing here. No, this is when they switched the Metropolitan sub at Wolverton, or whatever it is. Let me go to the Met. Here we go. So the outer tracks 1 and 2 are the mains at ABS 251. The other ones are unsignaled yard leads. These signals are only were at the time. These are representative of a time when everything was ABS. So they just provided an extra little bit of block in one direction only. So this also brings up another issue, is that that changed from the Metropolitan sub to the other sub. So we're going to see if I have that under this or not. No, I don't, because I'm going to have to go to the Met sub. Keystone, Met. Here we go. And the other odd thing about this is I never got a name for this signal. Everything else has a name, but this one, especially even in this, they never had a name for these signals. And another interesting thing is that this one was eventually replaced by a new temporary mast. Again, maybe something derailed and hit it. But this is the old one, or maybe it fell down on its own. I already resized it, okay. Oh, should I have resized this? No, I should not have resized it. Don't need that anymore. There we go. Oof. That's interesting. I think that's where they put like an 86 lumber. Let's find out. All right, come on. So yeah, we jumped pretty far ahead here. Or sorry, an 84. Yeah, that's when they were built. Wow, that's a pretty new 84 lumber complex. And that would be at somewhere like, I guess, milepost 78. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. We got all these. 72. There we go. 75.9. So this is what it looked like in 2012. You got this big old 86 lumber, or 84 lumber, and here they are building it in 2005. So, it's nice to take, you do these trips long enough, you get a nice little record of the things that have gone on. That's almost the exact, same, angle, too. That's incredible. That I have these two photos, maybe not exactly the same point. I think it was a little closer. But it's still pretty cool. And there we go. Next. Coming through WB Tower. That's going to be another problem, isn't it? Did I have Oh, I do have WB in here. Oh, come on. Give me the switch numbers. That's 19. 21E. It's going to be 21W. Okay, good. At least I have one. I do have pictures of the model board, but I have to dig it out. So, and we have both eastbound dwarfs. Again, nothing I can't. Yeah, I never model boarded that, so I'm just gonna forget it. I'm not gonna care. So the question is, yeah, I'm gonna keep this bridge. I think it's. I don't need a big zoom in. I don't have a lot of res, so I'm just gonna keep it like this. Here we have the whole 21 switch. And of course, there's always coal trains and stuff waiting around here at West Brunswick. It's pretty typical. Again, it's probably something I could go look up of what that signal is. That's not it. Hold on. No, that's not it. Hold on. I just gotta find wherever my blog thing is. Yeah, here it is. Which is interesting because I just did a news update on WB Tower, and from there I posted a write-up on WB Tower. I linked to a write-up on WB Tower, and on the write-up on WB Tower I linked to a railpictures.net, which has the model board, and that's the 24L The 24L Sig Dwarf there. So it's the 21 switch and the 24L Dwarf. Oops. And of course, WB Tower itself here in the winter. As I posted, WB Tower is still standing. I think it's on hold for preservation by the Brunswick History Museum, which is good. But at the same point, it's open to the elements. The door is unlocked. Both at least the ground floor is. They cut off the power. So it's not like it's there and being used by CSX crews as a sign-in location. It is unfortunately at risk for any old cold local to roll in there and set something on fire, which happens all too frequently with older wooden towers. Okay, now I can get rid of that picture there. All right, two left. Some pictures of the yard. I said I was out at WB recently, and there's still a good number of stuff there. PSR hasn't destroyed it, but the lack of cold traffic's definitely going to hurt at some point. Just got to get. Can I get a name on those? No, not even close. It's a former Conrail SD50 and what's probably a 3-digit, looks like something 38 AC 4400, but I can't read it, so hold on. Last picture of this unit was probably a former Condit Rail SD70 8773. Those got sold off, and a former Conrail C40-8, and that got sold off. So yeah, it's a shame the SD60s are starting to go. They seem to be pretty good. NS got really good mileage out of the rebuild. I'm not sure why there hasn't been an AC conversion attempt with them yet. But it looks like the major railroads, because they're swimming in power, they don't need to do rebuilds or anything like that. It's a shame, but they just, whatever they're doing, scaring away all the business, or it's the Panama Canal third lane, or whatever it is that's more pipelines to pipe away the oil, gas, the shale oil. They just don't need the engines. What is it? 7490. I'm sure someone in the chat's looking up if 8773 is an SD70M or an SD70I. Name. Let's see. Hopefully we didn't lose anything. Yeah, we for the midwinter trip actually, which went off today. We had four other people, including four people plus myself, so five. We walked 8.7 miles. We saw a lot of fun stuff. It was a good day. You know, it wasn't necessarily what I would have chosen if I had gotten a free choice, but it was definitely nicer than just calling it off. Yeah, if you feel free to send me anything you have on the Hack Tower. So, I have those. Hold on. Okay, don't need that. Don't need that. Might need that. What was I looking for? Oh, yeah, this. Yeah, the 8700 series. Yeah, no, they got rid of those. So now we're going to take a little journey down the Metropolitan sub. Although I know that, again, that they keep moving the break point around. But first, more CSX freights waiting to hit the main line. Might be waiting for us to pass here at East Brunswick. I'm pretty sure East Brunswick was controlled from WB Tower, but at some point it stopped. I'm not sure exactly when that was. WB Tower, I think, had CTC of this and Harper's Ferry. Back in that period, I said that this was the last tower controlled. From here at WB, it had a little CTC island. Then it was Rule 251 up to NA Cabin in Martinsburg, and that had a couple interlocking. Shenandoah Junction was remote from there, and the local crossover. Then the next tower was Miller. West Cumbo at the end of the Track 3 low grade, east end of the low grade. Then Miller, then Hancock, then a little more CTC like I had today, up through Mexico and the Cumberland Terminal. Then Viaduct Junction. I'm not sure when Mexico closed actually. Viaduct Junction, Hindman, Sand Patch, and then VI in Connellsville. So they had a lot of towers up at the turn of the century. So here we have number 55. These are both AC 4400s. Number 553 and 375. And coming in on the CPL SIGs. Yeah, it's neat to have like the yards that come out that split the main lines are always very interesting in terms of how they do the entrance and exits from them. So I think it's the minority of most yards don't tend to do that. They'll either have a single bypass track, or it'll be on something will just be on one side or not, or the other. Come on. East Brunswick, North Lead, South Lead. So we're now on track 1. Now, how do I do East Brunswick? I suspect I just do what it is because it's sort of a double interlocking. Cumberland, come on. Field, East Schneckley. I don't know where my East Brunswick is. Let's find out. Come on. Oh, there you go. Met sub. I have it under the Met. Alright. Whatever. At this time, it was under the Met. They keep shifting the subdivision point all over the place. It used to be like sometimes it's at Point of Rocks. It used to be at Weaverton. It all depends on where they want to dump the Cumberland yard. You have this weird asymmetric crossover where all these tracks will go down and then there's a crossover, but they have this sort of like extra crossover. I'm not sure exactly what the point of that one was for, but it's there. All right, cool. I can crop out that junk. I'm going to crop out more. I don't need that pole line pole. Yeah. There we go. And then we have one of my biggest regrets is that I did not do a better job looking at East Brunswick interlocking. I used to take a couple bike trips on the C&O Canal towpath, and I'd roll over across the canal to take pictures of various things. That's how I got to those other signals in the middle of nowhere, west of West Brunswick. I did get out to this end of East Brunswick. I took pictures of these two masts. In 2000, 20 whatever, and it was like I just didn't want to walk. Whatever it was, I didn't want to walk all the way down to the other end of the interlocking. I don't think there's a train there, but I just didn't want to deal with it. We had already ridden past. We were on our way back, and it was like you can see how long this interlocking is. So I would have had to either bike back or maybe it was like flooded over there, like the canal was flooded. For these, I just walked across the dry canal, really, really easy. And I just didn't go that day. And I kept trying. I knew they were trying to do a resignal project. I'm like, I got to get back. I got to get out there to get these pictures. And I go, and they'd already resignaled this like way faster than I thought they would. Because sometimes the resignaling projects will drag on for months or years. Like you had a good 6 months between when you saw the Darth Vader mask go up and between when they actually cut stuff over. But every so often on CSX, it'd be like bang, gone, and that would always, I'd feel bad about it. I probably should have gone out and just did it myself. But I lived in the city at the time, and it was always a pain to get out, and I always wanted to go with my friend. And we, so we could do like a bike trip or something. And I kept saying like, we got to get out there, we got to get out there. And when we went out there, it was just like, nope, too late. You missed it. So some stuff I don't have regret. Like I feel bad that I missed certain things, but I don't really regret it because I didn't have any option. But that's the one where I really did have the opportunity, and I just blew it. So I don't think, it looks like I didn't get the pictures of the High Rock Tunnel. We'll see. Katak, come on, where is this? That's Pointer Rocks Tunnel. How am I? All right. Oh, I think I put the Katahdin Tunnel. I didn't milepost it right. I don't even know where it is. All right, whatever. CA milepost looks like 70.6 CAOCTIN. This would be the Met sub at this point. Oh, I don't need that. 70. What? 70.5. CATOCTIN. And this was they did this back in the 60s to get higher clearances, since they rolled around on the canal side, so they didn't really have to roll at the, they built the tunnel. The canal was probably still in service. So they only had limited horizontal clearance, but at a certain, after that they just blew it up. Oh, I think these went in the wrong order or something. Huh. Here we have the signals at High Rock. Another really good, well-lit photo. And I did have a full set on these. This is where I scurried across the log over the muddy swamp, the canal, to get the pictures. And like I said, the line my friend said was like, he said like, well, I can't say you're not committed. There we go. I just got to get the name. Metsub. High Rock. Yeah, there's the original picture, and it's terrible. Yeah. Track 2, track 1. Oh, it looks like we did cross over at East Brunswick. That's why that train was waiting for us. Yeah, now we're back on track 2. Here we have the Pointer Rocks Tunnel at milepost 69.1. I know it's that because I was just out there the other day, and if you've, milepost 69 was right before this bridge. I don't need a lot of this road bridge in here. I'm going to bring that down. Okay. Let's see if this clarify can help out a bit. Probably going to dull it. Yeah. Boink. No. Whatever. I'll keep it like this. .1. I think this is that would be Route 15. And here we are at Pointer Rocks. So it's still very interesting that they never realigned it so that the old main line would be the diverging route, since everything, not a lot goes down the old main line. Yeah, it's a neat complex if you ever get out there. I've again, the signaling is bland, but it's still pretty neat. You can get a lot of neat indications on the signals, of course. Track. And here we have the other masts. Yeah, you get a lot of nice up close and personal action at Pointer Rocks. The platforms are all accessible. There's parking. You got the station itself is very photogenic. It's a really nice place to hang out. A little bit far to get out there. And there's actually a brewery right up the road, too, called Mad Science. Really good place. Yep. And here we have our Pointer Rock station. This station at some point had one of its canopies collapse, but as far as last I checked, they'd repaired it. I do not believe it is staffed anymore during the rush hours, or because when Bombardier got the contract. Fun fact: Bombardier has the contract currently to run the CSX lines. Prior to that, CSX was actually still running the service under contract with the state of Maryland, and because CSX was the successor to B&O, it had all this whole line had effectively had an unbroken passenger operation by the host railroad for 100 and something, 150 years. And now that it's CSX isn't running, now it's a contract operation, and they don't count that anymore. But it was still very interesting. So that was a bit unfortunate. There was some lady who, she was well under her she went into retirement, but she'd been working the ticket office there for her entire career. Okay, now we can start getting on these station things. I got a couple of the stations, so let's just sort of swing down on the Met sub and see what we can get to. There's a lot of new interlockings on the Metropolitan sub. And a lot of stuff. I'll figure this one out in a second. Dickerson. Oh, here it is. It's Barnesville. If I can just get the right thing here. I think it's Barnesville, is it? Yeah. Barnesville at 33.3 on the milepost. Sometimes I do the stations this one I'll leave as a milepost. I just got to find this real quick. Come on, map. Pointer Rocks, Dickerson, Barnesville. That is Maryland State Route 109 at milepost 33.9. 3. Don't need that. Roll that over there. Beautiful sun. I think I'm assuming that we're on time on all this. And last of this set, this is going to be Barnesville Spuck Lodge interlocking. At some point, when so this was all re-signaled in 1992, one of the last CPL installations. Between Pointer Rocks and DC for expanded MARC service, effectively, and when it got replaced, it wasn't one of those what they did was not only did they replace the CPLs, they basically put in 3 or 4 new crossovers. There's almost no automatics on that line. It's just crossover after crossover after crossover. Clearly, CSX was using whatever leverage it had to hem and haw about additional service to win a whole bunch of free crossovers using government money. They're doing their thing. and you know, it's not like the state doesn't get anything. What am I looking at? Okay, the facing crossover at Buck Lodge. Just gonna grab this. There we go. Missed those first ones. One thing that I do miss on these is my coverage of the Metropolitan sub was always limited because they would start bitching at you about going back to your sleeping car accommodation once you passed Rockville. And that would cut off a whole bunch of the lower ones. Now, there were a bunch of times where I wasn't in a sleeper because I was coming from Pittsburgh. You didn't really need a sleeper. And then I was able to get the full pull. But anyway, Buck Lodge, this is the trailing. And I think I'm going to get the CPLs next. We're almost done. Zip these. Last set of 10. Let's check the thing here. Blah blah blah. Hack Tower SD70M. Yeah, I guess one of those that got sold to the Buffalo in Pittsburgh. Man, they do not deserve an engine that nice. It came flying through on what? On the old main line or on the Met? I think that those should be medium speed crossovers. I was just there the other day. I'm pretty sure they're all medium. They should be medium speed. Okay, we're on the last bit, and this is gonna, as you can see, this last picture I get is Rockville because they, kvetch you to go back to the sleeping car accommodation. Now, come on, if I'm paying for, if I'm paying for a premium accommodation, I should be able to choose to not use it. There was a time on the Pennsylvanian where I had a business class, but I wanted the view out the back. They didn't make me sit in business class, but it's eventually I went back there and some guy was sitting in my seat. I mean, I guess I kind of moved my meat for most of the trip. All right, yeah, don't need to resize this. So, and like I said, I have a picture. There was a picture I saw. The reason I go through a lot of stuff on railroad.net or railpictures.net, mainly just to sort of, I survey them all the time just to stay abreast. And I saw a picture dated 1992 of an RDC passing this area of CPLs, and they were blanked over. They was being resignaled. So that gives me a date that these went in, and it was 1992. The ties they have, that's a defining characteristic. All of this stuff. So these are pretty new. And they lasted a good 20 years. I mean, they probably could have gotten 40 years out of them, but it wasn't that they were like just randomly replacing them. They were getting money to put in new stuff. These are the Seneca Fill CPLs that are way back there in the distance. I don't need you anymore. What am I looking at? Oh, the Buck Lodge. Yeah, it's these. Did I do anything with them? Did I just delete that? Yeah, I bet I just deleted that. Well, whatever. I'm going to try to get my full resolution on this. Yeah, this is called not paying attention. when you see this sort of signals far in the distance, that's not me not paying attention. Now that I have, like, on various cameras, way more zoom, I can usually recover from not paying attention, unless it goes blurry or it's whatever, or a curve. But with 3x zoom, it was a problem. This is Germantown. A place that probably might sound ritzier than it is. I don't know. Gotta go see how ritzy Germantown, Maryland is. Probably 'cause I'm thinking of Pennsylvania. I'm gonna label that as with a mark station name. It's close enough that there's nothing else railroady in the picture, and I usually like keeping my station name separate from the milepost listing. This should be, I'm not sure, but I think this also got turned into an interlocking. So the last one did stay. Buck Lodge. Oh, sorry, hold on. So this is Clopper. But at some point you can see, like, I thought, oh, hey, they're not replacing those masts. And then I started seeing, now CSX will occasionally leave, like, non-replaced masts around. But then, then these turnouts appeared. And then they put in interlocking. They put in a new run at Tuscarora. They put a ton of interlockings in. Let's see if a little bit of clarify helps. Maybe. There we go. This is like a fair. That's like some sort of county fairgrounds that had a siding that's still there. If I can get the there it is. And I think there's still a CPL a dwarf protecting that siding. That's one of the things that the B&O like to do. They had like little exit signals at the sidings. It's Montgomery County Fairgrounds. I don't have any better milepost number. I'm not sure how much I can cut off of this either. I guess I can just cut right before that tree. Yeah, that works. Puts me right on the rail. A little bit brighter. And a little bit more color. There are still a few of the CPL dwarf siding exit signals. I think that's one of them. Let's see where that was. Oops. I don't know where the heck. Oh, wow, that zapped me. Okay, Germantown. Metropolitan Grove. There's the fairgrounds. there? No, they didn't turn the fairgrounds into a housing development. There's the fairgrounds. Okay, I wonder if I can get... I'm going to see if I can get on Street View. And see if I can get in on that street. Not really, but let's see how far up I can go. No, it's not going to be nearly enough. Yeah, see there's the new signals. And it looks like the siding's completely removed. So, it sucks. Okay, sorry about that. And these are the signals at Ward. Actually, no, you couldn't tell if the siding has been removed or not, because I wasn't close enough. I think that there was some schmutz on the window because there's a lot of weird haze. Yeah, I just need to do this. You can see how bright these CPLs are. The lenses, when you have them up close, they're very large, like 8 inches wide. Or it's either 8 or 5, but I think it's 8. They're quite big. They look very small. I've picked up a couple. Every so often when you go out to these locations, there'll be the lenses are plastic. They're Fresnel lenses, but they're still plastic. And you pick them up and they're like, whoa, this is huge. Buck Lodge, but no, I don't want Buck Lodge. On this one, here we go. Ward. In fact, that's the picture. I cropped it almost to the same level. Okay. Next, almost done. This is going to be Gaithersburg, the Mark Station, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I already have one for winter. I'm just going to call this a... westbound. Oops. And there we go. And here we are at Durwood. This is the end of the metro. This is where I think the metro, one of the metro rail connections is. There's another one at Greenbelt. Not sure why you'd have this area named Durwood, but, there you go. Oops, don't want that. I like preserving a nice blue sky to whatever degree you can. But it's a little soft. Not much I can do about it. Tunnels. Here we go. This is from the other direction, of course. And this direction. Yeah, I was never quite sure why they had the medium approach medium. I mean, I assume it's short signal blocks. But if you look at the doohickey here, Durwood is at milepost 19.6. Ward is at 22.2. It's a full 2 mile block. Everything it's just like clockwork. 2 miles, 2 miles, 2 miles. And so I'm not sure what the there's not a back-to-back interlocking. Maybe that was a plan or something. Yeah, I don't know what's up with this sort of gross gunk over it. I'm going to try that. Oops, don't want to do that. There we go. Just got to pump up the saturation a little bit once I do a clarify. And yeah, just a little soft. There had to have been some haze on this. I think that my older camera, while it did do a lot of things pretty well, like to avoid blur or the type of because it didn't have a lot of zoom, of course. The one thing I could never really get through is I couldn't really zoom through a grungy window. Like I think some of my newer cameras are better able to tolerate that. And our last photo of my 2005 winter special. Again, thank you all for coming out. It's just gonna be Rockville at which point they were like, go back to your sleeper, and I'm like, okay. There are situations where I have not, I just sort of ignored that. But the major issue isn't that like they're gonna get mad at me. It's that I have to like pack up. I got to get all my stuff together because you're gonna pull in DC and then you got to get off the train. So if I stay in my photo position, getting back to the sleeper is going to be very difficult as all the other passengers are up and about. You're gonna got to cut through the dining car and they're cleaning that up. So it just becomes it's less about they don't know who I am at the back of the train, but trying to get back to my sleeper to get all my stuff becomes the problem. Gaithersburg, Shady Ridge. So Rockville is interesting because to avoid the delay and block problem, they put signals both in front of and behind the station, right next to each other like this. Usually when that one's at approach, they're both at approach. Or maybe, I don't know, I'm not sure what the logic is. But you're not going to see this at approach and the other one at stop and proceed. They don't do that. Yeah, I do not have a lot of Rockville CPL photos because most times I had to bail out. Oh, that's why they replaced these early. These got upgraded pretty early on. So in 2019, they did this whole as a time improvement project to deal with the delay and block rule. So as early as 2008, they had these out. They replaced this. So I think this is my only picture of the Rockville CPLs. This one right here, which I'm going to be doing better with. So that's I'm glad that's the reason I'm going back to do all this stuff. Nope, that's not what I need. That's the one I need. Maybe I should just sharpen this a little bit more. I don't usually like using the sharpen more filter, but sometimes you need it. Ugh. Makes it look over sharpened, but it is soft. All right. I believe that's going to be it. Makes me want to sharpen this other one up again or something. Yeah, just need a little bit more sharpen. Okay. Let's see. Any questions out there? I don't know if the siding for the fairgrounds is still active. I can take a quick look at it again on the overhead. I can go to the street view and see what's up. Let's see. Cut out of that. This will give me a clearer view. Yes. Oh, no, it's not. It got cut at some point. That's right. But the CPL might still be there. I think I see it right there. So the CPL might be there. It's pretty far in and it's fenced, so that's why someone hasn't come by to steal it. Yeah, but somewhere I do have a picture, not on this machine, but on a different one, of that cut, of that track being cut. It was a double-ended siding too, and there's you can see where the other one used to be. Yeah, I guess they'd have the circus or the Straits Carnival train would come in to use that. Okay, next streams. Well, anyway, thank you very much. Everybody have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I need to go back through and figure out what I don't have. So things that I don't have that I need to do still include the South Jersey River Line opening day and the Route 15 opening day. Both of those are going to be 2-day streams, so I usually like putting those together when I can have 2 days, two together. So maybe MLK Day or President's Weekend, you can look for one of those two. I'm not looking forward to really either of them. It's a lot of survey, but I don't have any information on the SJLR. I don't know the interlocking names. There's a lot of issues. I just don't have the documentation for it. I need to find it somewhere. I should ask around. I forget. I don't know if I think I have the Route 15 ones on this computer. But those are the two big ones I got to do. I sort of have a list. I have a running list. I put placeholders in for everything I was missing. Route 15 needs to be done. That's in 2005. Last Ride of the Three Rivers, I just did that. River Line, let's see. That's J. 1 second. Riverline opening day. Yeah, that's another one. And I'm not sure what else is left. Those two for sure. I got something for a chapter picnic for the NRHS chapter picnic in 2003 I need to do. Riverline opening day. Route 5. Oh, and a trip to Boston that I took. And some fall foliage things in 2005. So, those are the 4 that I have from this first bunch up to 2006. And then at that point, I'm going to start tackling the 2006 and 2007 ones. At that point, I'm going to be sort of out of material. But we'll see what to do after that. Anyway, thank you very much, everybody. Have a great and happy New Year. Looks like I can never get these done under 90 minutes with this stuff. So, stay safe. Drive safe, and look for me. I'll schedule something up as soon as I know, but I'm looking for right now for either MLK Day weekend or President's Day weekend, or maybe I'll do a onesie twosies. We'll see. All right. Thank you so much, and throw up any comments if you have them. I'll be around for a few more minutes. All right. Thanks. Later.